Hey everybody, happy 4th of July from the Bearded Bonsai and the Bonsai Baby. Today we're going to check on our air layer we did last summer and see if it's ready to take off. So today we're going to do an update to an air layer video I did just over a year ago. This red Japanese maple, this branch right here, I air layered late July of 2023. I did a video that you can find in my YouTube channel of how to do an air layer with that branch. And in September, we checked it and there were no roots growing on it yet. So I decided to leave it on there all winter, just keep it wrapped up, not touch it. Late this spring, I checked it. I noticed roots were starting to grow. All the leaves were pushing new growth. So I just left it alone. And now it's ready to take off. It's fully rooted, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I wasn't sure what would happen leaving that air layer on it all winter. I'm in zone 6B. It snowed a lot. It's exposed to all the elements, but it made it through winter. It started pushing growth. It's fully rooted now and ready to cut off. So I'm going to cut it off now and then show you a close-up of the roots and how to pot it up once you remove it. All right, there you go. So that's going to be our new tree. And one of the cool things about doing an air layer is the tree you take it off of, such as this one here, it's going to have these identical traits because it's essentially this same tree. So any tree that you have that you love, whether it's a named cultivar or not, this is not a named one. This is just a red maple, Atropurpureum. But this branch was just growing straight out to the side. It just did not go with the flow of the rest of the tree at all. So rather than just cut it off and scrap it, I decided to air layer it. And now we have another tree. So here we have a 1-gallon nursery pot that we're going to be potting our tree up in. And it is just filled probably with 90% sphagnum peat moss, New Zealand sphagnum peat moss, and probably 10% pine bark fines. And the peat moss is the same stuff we use to make on the air layer. It really holds moisture. It stays super wet. It will keep these new roots from drying out, and it will also help more roots develop. So here's our air layer we cut off, and you can see it's full of roots, and the roots are hardened off. You can see the brown and red. You can see the growing tips are white. If all your roots are white, you want to leave them on until they harden off like this. So let's go ahead and take our wrap off and see what we've got in here. This one. Take the top wrap off now. You want to be careful because these roots are still pretty delicate. So we'll just unwrap that. And there you go. Check that out. Just full of roots. That is looking really good. Very optimistic about this one surviving. So we'll take, oh, and look at that when I pull the moss back. Still shooting new roots out, even here. So this thing is just growing really, really well. So let's go ahead and pot this up. And you can see this is, again, just the wet sphagnum peat moss. And this is the same. I just added little pine bark pines in there just to give it a little more organic material. And we're just gonna make a little hole down in here, kind of pushing this to the edge, making a little cavity. And I suppose the bottom here, just so you can see, here's the limb I just cut off. So we're just going to put this right down in here, like so. Kind of pack this around it. I'm actually going to cut this little branch off here at the bottom. It's a little closer to the air layer than I wanted. We'll just kind of set this down in here. We'll lightly pack it in here. You don't want to smash it because you could break off those new fragile roots. So there you go. And back that off a little bit. You can see now we've got a brand new tree. It's always such a fun Christmas morning type of feel. It's like getting a little gift. Can't wait to watch this one grow and keep documenting this and sharing it with you all. Like I said, I originally air layered this branch just over a year ago. It was late July of 2023. You can go to my videos here on YouTube. It's called How to Air Layer Japanese Maple, and you can see exactly how I did this. There's an update video of September last year where we checked for roots. There weren't any. So now this is the third part where I left the air layer and the moss on the tree all winter long. Didn't touch it, didn't add any root hormone, anything. And this spring, the leaves started growing, so I just left it alone. And here we are, July this year. It's fully rooted. We just cut it off and planted it. So it's a really cool story on this one that we were able to leave this air layer on all winter, and it was totally fine. I'm in zone 6B. We had a good amount of snow this last winter. It got cold, but it did not seem to affect this branch or this air layer at all. So that's really interesting. I might try some more late summer this year to see if we get the same success results. Because that's really interesting. But I encourage you all to try this on some of your trees. Again, if you have a tree that you love, even if it's not a name variety, you just love it and want another one, or you want a backup in case your main tree dies, try an air layer. You'll get an exact copy of that tree you love, and it's just a really fun thing. Good way to produce more material on your own. The next step for this one is just to keep it watered and moist for the rest of summer. Come fall, this moss should be really full of roots. This should really put on a lot of root growth from now until fall. At fall, we'll check it again and probably pot it into some more soil, maybe bury it in the ground, but we'll see where we're at then and do another updated video. For now, I hope you guys have an awesome 4th of July. I appreciate you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.